What's going on, yo? It's your boy Gibbons here.
No, we'll see.
And welcome to yet another episode of the Achromous podcast, episode 43. And if this is your first time watching the Achromous podcast and you're watching it on YouTube, we want you to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and hit that like button, because every single time that you hop on YouTube and you literally open the screen, you will be able to be one of the first ones to see the Achromous podcast. And best of all,
it's free to do so. So I'm getting right to it, guys. It's free to do that. You get to go back and watch all the episodes that we've documented and moving on our way. Look, I'm already ahead. I'm thinking 44. That's what I was thinking in my mind not too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
It's I want to point that out. But look, but that's how excited I am to let you guys know where we are. So we got so much content for you, and we're looking forward to you getting into it and learning more about yourself. And again, Jay told you what to do. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys. That notification bell is waiting for you. Make sure you get that. We need to get the subscribers up, guys. We want to make sure we're reaching people who are like-minded, who want growth and seek it as much as we do.
Yep, absolutely. And look, I mean, the one thing with YouTube, I don't know if you know this, but they are removing the dislike button.
Yes. I
So,
heard about that.
So now if you hate us, other people won't be able to tell because you can't see the numbers next to the dislike button. All you can see is the likes. Now, I will reserve my opinions on that. I would say one thing. I think that this opens the door for a lot of scammers to come in and push a lot of products, because you can't tell which ones aren't good anymore. However, you can catch us on Spotify, you can catch us on Facebook, you can catch us on Instagram, you can catch us on TikTok. And the other aspect of that is you can also catch us on the Achromous store, where we have gear like what you see here, what you see there, and many other items: t-shirts, socks, pillows, bottles. We have everything you can possibly need. And look, it is still fall weather. It is beautiful outside. I gotta say, it was really nice outside. I probably didn't even need this hoodie, but I gotta tell you what, if you go on our website, you go down to where that promo code is, you type in never fall, that is never fall, you will get 25% off of anything in the store.
25% off in this day and age. That's almost unheard of.
I mean, it's almost as unheard of as that. I can't say it. I'm not going to say it.
Free to subscribe to us.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's been a week. It's been a very crazy week. As you know, I'm a pretty big NFL fan, and this past Thursday, two really big things happened. Number one, Cam Newton's going back to the Panthers. So if you are a North Carolina Panthers fan, if you are a Cam Newton fan, I personally think this is a great move. He's going back to where he started. He's going back to where he's drafted. He's going back home. I think you're going to see some swaggy Cam.
You think so?
I do. He was with the Patriots, and everything is the Patriots way, and it's by the book, and it's do your job. I mean, you see Tom when he left, right?
Yeah,
Tampa Bay, right? Right. So look, I think Cam is going to finish out with the Panthers this year, and if he does great, if he does good enough, I'm sure he'll be back next year for another year, and maybe he ends his career there. Who knows? And the other thing too, Odell Beckham is going to the LA Rams. Now that I also think is another good fit. Odell Beckham, he's a superstar both on and off the field. Yeah. He's friends with LeBron James. He's bumping knuckles with a whole bunch of celebrities. That's who he is. Now, that roster's already stacked. They have a lot of players, whatever. But I think this is the best move for them. I think it was the right move for them. And I think this was somewhat of a healthy escape for both of those players, because you could feel as though they were trapped, right? You know how they both are. Both Cam and Odell, they're very, they've got this swag about them. I wouldn't call them showboating, but they are very confident in their skill level. And you saw that confidence go down when they left the place where they were drafted, when they felt like they were just spinning in the middle of nowhere. They just didn't fit where they went to. But now that they're going into where they either used to be in one case or want to be in the other, I believe that this is a healthy way for them to finish out their career in the National Football League.
Yeah, I agree. I believe that's a very fair assessment of it. And just focusing on a healthy escape in a way that makes sense so that you can continue to be you. So the last thing you want to do is to feel boxed in and you can't, grow. You can't express yourself from whatever aspect of life that looks like to you.
Right. I think, at least for me, as you know, I love exercising, obviously, right? From this podcast, Achromous Fitness, right? I know you do as well. It's what we do, right? This is we out here. So, back when I was much younger, and I was trying to run away from things I didn't want to admit to, whether it was my terrible relationship with food, whether it was just things going on just or in my life in general. That was where I was able to go. Now at the time, and kind of going back to finding inner peace, which is our last episode, I remember you mentioned that you didn't want to use that trauma to fuel you. And for a while it was doing that for me, where I was like, well, yes, I'm losing weight, but those people who said something, I want to get back at them so much. I hate them for what they've said, and all that stuff. So it wasn't healthy for me at that time. But when I started to understand myself more and be real with myself and learn myself and love myself, that escape, if you will, ended up being so beneficial for me. It led me to be able to win championships. It led me to be able to find out who I was and to gain new friends and more respect in a place where I felt like was my home. So I've been able to use the gym and use just physical fitness in general as a way to I don't want to say escape problems or anything, because that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're running from. But it was something that was separate from all of the noise in our lives, all of the stress, all of these traumatic experiences that we've gone through. We've been able to find this healthy, this sanctum, if you will, this sanctuary where we can be ourselves and be who we truly are. And that ended up being my healthy escape, and it still is to this day.
And it's really good that you focus in on like channeling what a healthy escape look like and being able to explain examples of that, because you have to really be mindful when you're going through a tough time, when you feel boxed in, where you go and how you move really depends on your state of mind in that moment. Right? So like what I was referencing, last episode, was very pivotal to us talking about what we're going into now, because what do you hold on to, right, to kind of help you as a healthy outlet, to escape whatever it is that feel like you're preventing yourself from being the best version of yourself. So if for example, with me is like my faith, that's another part, and pulling into what that looks like to me personally, developing on that, nourishing it. You have to build into those parts to create a healthy outlook of what it looks like. So, for example, like I know this is just a interesting analysis, but like The Sims. So I will go to The Sims, and you just reconstruct what you want that life for you to look like, which ultimately, right, you have your player, and you have your stats about what you want to increase, work on to make you better overall. It's no different than really what we do with life with ourselves. We look at ourselves, we focus on ways to highlight our attributes, which ultimately affects how our mood about ourselves, in a positive way, in most cases, I hope. And ultimately that'll kind of help dictate and shape your direction in like those outlets of to get away. So if you start pulling them more to your faith or whatnot, for example, maybe it may take you down the course of learning how to meditate, and again, setting affirmations.
That's true.
Things that we've talked about, where I have my affirmations that I've adjusted that keeps me aligned with reality. And it's kind of like a self-check. if you will, to stay in tune with myself. And I recite it to myself as often as I need to, so that I stay in line. So from doing something like that, or, you know, establishing, I mean, you could say a hobby of sorts, you know,
Sure.
as another form of relieving it. Like for us, with working out is something that we've stated numerous of times, and you are aware that that's what we do. And but there are also alternative things we do. Like, you know, for me, I use my guitar as an outlet to practice. You know, it's just a matter of what it looks like to you and what you create to manifest a positive, like, outcome for you through the process. So you really have to take a step back to learn about yourself so that you know what you need to create for you. You won't have the answer right away, right? You're not going to have it right away. But if you're taking the time to identify the areas of yourself that are of concern, and then, you know, detach that from the areas of yourself that you are okay with, that you want to strengthen, then you have an idea of how to bring all of your attributes to the next level. You know, you put it all together.
That's very true. You know, I think it's funny because you mentioned The Sims, and I haven't played in a while, honestly. I know they have a whole bunch of mods in there now. You can do a whole bunch of crazy things, and it's advanced back from, you know, the early 2000s when I was playing. But the one aspect of it I do remember was that I remember I had a job, and every time I would come home from that job, you know, I would unintentionally leave my house in a mess. So I'd have plates that were still on the table, things I didn't clean. My house got burnt down a little, at least a section of it. And I was so miserable in that house, or my Sims character was. And it was funny because every time I went to work, I was escaping all of the issues that I had back at the house. And you're right, that is just like real life, because we tend to do that as humans in our real lives. We tend to go where it is a little bit more comfortable. We tend to want to push away the things that we are either afraid of facing or afraid of dealing with, or don't want to deal with. So I found that example to be very, very, very true when I thought back to when I was playing. And I think the one thing with really getting into a healthy escape is that positive change that you get with it. Because there was a difference. Even when I started, like I said, I started working out prior, and because I had that trauma to fuel my workouts, it wasn't the same. I wasn't focused on, I did not have a purpose, right? I was going there because I wanted to get back at somebody rather than building myself up. And until I was able to switch that and create a positive change and have a positive outlook on where I was going, that's when things started coming. That's when things started happening for me. That's when I started getting stronger. I started feeling healthier and feeling better and more confident in myself, rather than saying, oh, I got to get back at those people for saying X, Y, Z. That part at that time, it mattered so much to me that was my main focus. But once I was able to get past that, my main focus was making sure I was a better person.
And that's not always easy to do, Jay. You know, it's hard a lot of the times for anyone to have that kind of mindset, because, you know, again, we are our own worst critics. We're harder on ourselves than anyone else can ever be. So, you know, in the process of going through those things, you know, you also have to doubt. You also have those parts that speak to yourself when it tells you you're not enough for whatever reason in those moments. And you also feed it the fuel of, like, you know, doubt in yourself, and that festers and it builds. And then, you know, it takes consumption of you and your thought process, and you don't start looking for a way to better yourself, because you become content in being in that bubble, you know, again, because you don't want to face the adversity was out there. And sometimes what I've learned is, it's not always that someone doesn't want to face those parts of themselves. They don't know how. They don't know, you know, when you're so used to something that you've been dealing with a certain kind of way, you've built again a form of an addiction to something. And a lot of times adversity and trauma and, you know, experiences that are difficult are easier to accept than seeing your worth and seeking growth and fighting to attain an outlet of peace. You know, it's hard to fight and hold on to that, to stabilize it, because you're so caught up in yourself or to what everyone else thinks and feel for you. When ultimately it's about you. So if you really want to grow, you have to really take the time to recognize that about yourself, what's holding you back, find a way to detach from that, leave it where it is, and develop the parts of you that need that love and care in you. And then ultimately the habits that you start to create through that process manifest itself with time. And that's the biggest thing I've had to learn, Jay. The manifestation of my now is through those moments in my season of self-development. So my healthy outlets are different than what I had done before. Drinking was a form of something that I utilize as an outlet to escape, to numb what I was feeling. Fitness, getting in phenomenal shape, but through my form of aggression, which led to a wicked spiral into depression, was due to the fact that I wasn't loving myself enough. I wasn't balancing that trifecta of mind, body, spirit. It's something we talk about all the time. You've really got to highlight those attributes and work on each part of them, you know, and the branches that fall into it, because all of it plays a role into finding out who you are, to who you are. So in order to get to those avenues, to find your healthy escape, to find your place of peace, your domain, you know, that's for you, that you gotta get to a point of doing that work so that you appreciate how sacred it is, and you could set the right boundaries around it to protect that, because protecting that is protecting you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that big, it's that deep. You know, I live my life according to that. I have to. We all need a healthy outlet. And sometimes you don't know what it's going to take to get you there, but just know that it starts with you, inward and here, what you feel here and what you feel here, and what's coming out here into existence. So work on those parts of yourself. Work on those parts. Start there if you don't know how to today. Analyze what you feel. Like, we deprive ourselves of feeling everything, you know, but we dwell on what's not good. We dwell on what's not okay. And as long as you continue to do that and you live in that, that is your reality. You've manifested. That is your now. But it doesn't have to be forever. It doesn't have to be forever. You can change that at any time. That's a beautiful part of life, is we are given the blessing of choice. And we undermine the power of that. We don't recognize how much emphasis we should put on choice, because that dictates everything you do in your life, you know, albeit good or bad. We don't recognize the stepping stones that led us to either path. And I mean that morally speaking, you know, because what's true, what is considered to be truly right or wrong, it's open to interpretation for everyone. It's very subjective. So what does that look like to you? And you know, as you work on yourself, you will be better. You'll do better. You'll seek to be better. You'll become the peace you seek. Where, you know, you go through phases of that part of yourself, because you are in the deepest parts that no one can give you answers for. And it's an unknown that you don't know, and no one else is going to know for you. So you got to take a step back and really just think about it. Like, how much do you seek to feel that peace at some point, right? Like we said, like we spoke on last episode, where for me, I got accustomed to a point that, okay, it's only a matter of time before something bad happens. It's only a matter of time. I was not enjoying anything good that was happening in my life. I wasn't accounting for the little wins, bro. I wasn't accounting for none of that. I lived every moment that I should have been embracing with joy and accomplishment. I undermined it because of how I felt about my worth and what I allowed other people, like you said about you with fitness earlier, made you feel. And that channeled your frustrations. But that doesn't work for you. It's not sustainable. It's not healthy. Very true. It's toxic. Plus, think about the ones that you say you love and you care about. It's infectious. You are infectious. We are energy. So what we give and share with someone is important. It's important. So if you are not mindful in what you want to give out, check on how you feel inward. Like take a step back, isolate yourself, man, from social media, all these places and these things that you into that people are afraid to back up off.
Yeah.
Take a step back. Look, I've been doing that for a while now, bro. We were talking. Oh, significantly. I feel so much better, and I feel it. I'm feeling it in tune with myself. So now if it's optional if I want to deal with social media. It's optional if I want to go on there, but it ultimately has no say or dictation in my healthy outlets or my self-worth. So I can approach it from a place of like self-love and joy and choose to give that out, albeit with some of the folks out there that me personally, or I interact with some fashion, or we send videos or send funny things that like something joyful that's gonna be joyful to your spirit in some way, to make you smile, to make you know you matter. You know what I'm saying? You matter. We all do. But before you can get to that place of on a mountaintop, like you gotta start at the bottom. You gotta start on ground level. You got to start there,
bro. But that is so hard, right? It's so difficult to do so. Like, what
is it?
How? So is it really? How can somebody get started?
Is it really that difficult though?
It could be.
But it's all what you tell yourself. The same way we can accept that part of it of acknowledging to say it is difficult. How do we get there? Why can't we encourage ourselves? I will get there. That's the point of the stepping stones, right? That we set into place.
Absolutely.
So we own it, we speak it into existence, and we manifest the steps along the way. But in order to do that, you work on here, you work on your mind, you work on your heart. You again, the trifecta, mind, body, and spirit.
Yep.
If you have to connect those things to learn who you are to your core. And then you will get to the path that's for you in life, because we don't know our final destination of where we're headed. We just know we're on a path, right? And life is about experiences. It's about learning. It's about growth. A person's age doesn't define their wisdom.
That's very true.
It's your life experiences of what you go through, howbeit what you consider to be morally good or bad, or how it affected you. But you grow through it and you go through it and you're still here.
Yep.
So what you do with that knowledge and the energy that you create around it is up to you. Like how you give that off is up to you, So like if my mood is off and I come in here, if I came here and I'm not myself and I'm just angry and I'm just filled with rage and emotions, that part of that's going to rub off on you.
Yep.
It's going to rub off on you. It's no different. And I'll give you a prime example, guys. From the moment of whether it's someone you don't know, that you greet someone, that exchange of energy, that exchange of interaction dictates a mood. If you walk up to someone and you greet with a hi, a wave, a smile, and you receive that back, you will feel good. You're gonna feel okay with that, right? That energy. It's a warm welcome, but as opposed to someone that's just cold.
Yep.
For whatever the reason is, you don't know what's going on in their life, but that energy is right there. You're gonna receive that.
It's very true.
Right? So
very true.
It goes back to working on yourself. This goes back to the individual. So before you can find your healthy escape from, whatever it is that you deal with on a day-to-day basis that we all go through, because you need something to keep you stable, work on yourself. Discover what affirmations look like to you. Be honest. Ask yourself the difficult questions about why you feel the way you feel on things. Why you accept things the way you accept them in your life. Do you have to? It's a choice.
Very true.
I'm not saying like, gonna go out here and just money's gonna rain from the sky and your life is just gonna be great and better all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
But there's always a way, for example, to earn $1. Right.
That's
so you can build your way to want to go. If that's what you aspire to be, a healthy outlet and escape for you. Money, finances. Like, what do you want to do? Learn more about stocks. Start working, thinking about investments with what you have. You get some turnover on what you are creating financially.
Yep.
fitness, as we said earlier, hey, you don't have to be the strongest person, the fastest to do this. The most in shape person. No, you take it one step at a time. You take the smallest weights that you can do, you learn how to work on your form, and you gradually have your sets, and you create your repetitions in between it, and you continue to be consistent with that aspect of it. And that's just a form of, right, consistency. So and that's just a form of it, just speaking physical, but consistency through any of the things that you are establishing for yourself. Consistency is going to be the key to it, and developing on that consistency and manipulating it so that you can grow through it. And you don't stay stagnant, and you just learn how to add on or tweak it and build, and just then those healthy sparks are generating, because now you're starting to think outside the box. You're starting to think outside of a way that you would normally think. Why? Because you're starting to care about yourself. You're starting to love yourself.
That sounds like the change I had to go through. I think the one thing that you said, consistency and progression. There are many times where many of us may do something consistently, but it may be consistently wrong. It may be consistently bad for us. So if we're consistent and we're progressive, the only way we can go is up. If we continue to change and we continue to grow, that's the only place we're going. And a lot of the times, I think our focus is just taken away, as you said, as you mentioned, social media. The amount of time that you spent off, and I've done it the same. I'm only on there for the Achromous podcast and Achromous Fitness, and it has done wonders with my psyche. You no longer get in these battles with people on comment sections, or just see terrible posts to completely ruin your day. It takes so much time out of you, and it literally changes your mood. So that, just like you're right, if you came on here with a bad mood and the vibe was bad, our back and forth wouldn't be as fluid as it is. And then you would also feel it at home, even though you're not sitting with us. You would feel the tension, and man, this episode just wasn't hitting right. It didn't feel the way it should. So I think it's very important, as you said, that once you are ready to find that healthy escape, you must make sure that your foundation is set. You must make sure that you are whole with yourself before you take that next level. And it is just like working out. I can't tell you the amount of people who I see doing bicep curls wrong, squats wrong, bench press wrong. And the crazy thing about it is they have so much weight on already. So that means that their foundation, when they started off with no weight, was already bad. So now they piled on the weight with something bad, and it always leads to injury. It always leads to pain later on down the road. And it's the same thing in all facets of life. So make sure when you're starting your foundation is strong, it's secure, it's authentic, and then you continue to rise, right? This life, yes, it is short, but each and every day, if you push it to 100%, you literally focus on everything that you need to do, you continue to make progress, you will get to where you need to eventually. Like, a lot of people are really rushing to that end. They want to get there today. They want to get that money, as you mentioned, money and finances, but you may not be prepared for that money that you get today. No. It is not your time. You will eventually, if you keep being consistent, you keep being progressive, you will get there eventually.
Yeah, none of it, but none of it would be sustainable if you hadn't done the work to build your foundation. Absolutely. And that's in anything.
Yep.
You learn through something, that's new, like anyone else would. But if you don't have a strong base, how do you manage yourself through whatever you deal with in life? Adversity. That's why a lot of people run away from their problems. Yeah. Because they haven't tried to identify those things and what it looks like to them, because for each person is different.
Very different. Yep.
But like, how you go about establishing the basics, as I like to say, that's going to be the most important part of the process. So when you are hitting those strides and you are consistent, if you do encounter any sort of turbulence, you'll get right through it. You'll get through it with no problem. Yep. You'll get through that storm. You've learned how to dance in the rain. You've learned how to maneuver your way through it, through those hiccups in life. Yep. And emotions is what it is. So you're going to have them. But again, ultimately, how you handle it is up to you. Yep. And if you do it well enough, where you have chosen to be will be the best place for you. If you can manage it well enough.
Yep. Very true. I think, a lot of it too, I think, is a matter of perspective. We always talk about that 1%, right? That 1% change every single day. If you literally make a 1% change every single day and you get to 100 days, guess what? That's 100%. You are 100% different than you were 100 days before. And that's an absolute guarantee. And you can measure that, whether it's you on a weight loss goal or you trying to be more productive at work. All of those things are measurable. So make sure that you're keeping track of the progress that you're making, so that you can also use that to fuel where you're going, to fuel your purpose, and to use that as motivation will get you to where you need to be.
Yeah, because you're worth it. You matter. This is exactly why you need to do these things. And let me rephrase that. You choose to. You choose to, because everyone has a choice. You have a choice to listen to what we're sharing, and choose to take away what you deem a part that's beneficial for you.
Yep. I mean, what's even funnier, bring it back to choosing. You chose to drive over here this evening, to do this podcast. I chose to turn on this monitor and to turn on this mic and sit here and bring our community some gems, right? We chose to do that. We chose to make it to episode 43. We could have stopped after 1, but we chose to keep going. This is our healthy escape. Crazy.
It is
crazy to think about.
And it comes full circle.
It does. It sure does. And look, at this time in our community, you've been hearing us. We've been telling you about our healthy escapes and what a healthy escape looks like. But we want you to share yours. What does your healthy escape look like? Where are you in your progress towards your destiny? Have you literally molded that foundation, that strong foundation that you stand on, that you know for sure will propel you to where you want to be? The best and most detailed response will be featured on the next episode of your Achromous podcast, and you'll also have a featured post on our page.
So with that being said, guys, share that with us. Share your healthy escape. Share, matter of fact, not just sharing that part of it, but also share the foundation of what that looks like for you. Share those affirmations. What is the basics to you? So when you get to a place where you're maneuvering through it, and if you seem to think that you're falling flat, how do you pick yourself back up? That's what we want to know.
That's strong, man. Picking yourself back up. I think it requires a lot more spiritual and mental strength than just physical, because you have to acknowledge that you've fallen in order to begin to pick yourself back up. But as long as you have that strong foundation, you have somewhere to land so that you can build back stronger, build back better, and be great for who you are, to be able to understand what your purpose is, and to get to that point, to give your life direction, to remain focused, to remain consistent, and to continue to progress until you find what that destiny is.
Very true. Very true.
And look, I mean, with all that being said, I know for some out there, it may be difficult, especially for those who have not been used to looking inside of themselves and saying, man, there are things I need to work on. There's certain things that I need to touch on. Maybe I need to go to the gym a little. Maybe I need to read some books. Maybe I need to get out there. Maybe I need to learn a new language, a new instrument. Maybe I need to climb the peak of a mountain to really, really feel that escape for me. But it comes back to the point with how comfortable are you with feeling uncomfortable? Are you ready to make that jump? Are you ready to live outside of your comfort zone? Because that's what it's going to take. But as we mentioned before, you are going to look 100% different once you get there. This man sitting next to me, I can tell you, over 100 days ago, I didn't know who this man was. I would think this is a stranger next to me compared to the person I once knew, because that person no longer exists. This is the true man right here. And for everybody else out there watching in our Achromous community, next Sunday, we will teach you exactly how to live outside of your comfort zone, how to progress with purpose, with faith, and to eventually get to where you want to be. I think it is important for you to understand how you can keep going and be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
You have to be vulnerable. No one likes to be vulnerable.
No, not at all.
But it's in that place of being vulnerable that you'll find the best version of you waiting.
That's motivation enough for me.
Yeah, we can't wait to talk about it.
Me neither. Look, happy Sunday, everybody out there. We appreciate you taking the time to join us on the Achromous podcast. If this is your very first time here, welcome. We hope that we've been able to share some gems with you that would persuade you to come back and listen to more. And if you've been here before and still do not have an idea what we are all about, well, let me spell it out for you once again.
Take him there, Jay.
ACHROMOUS. We are available on YouTube, on Spotify, on Facebook, on Instagram, and even on TikTok. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And my name is J.H. Gibbons.
And we'll see.
Peace.